Chapter 1 Hunting. You are listening at FameTV.info. West Blue, August Island. In the middle of a street, pirate Captain Rhodes with a huge machete on his shoulder looked at a box of treasures in front of him, and asked several of his pirate subordinates, "Are the treasures here?" "Almost everything, good. Let's go." Rhodes nodded with satisfaction and told the pirate subordinate near him to move all the treasure to his ship and planned to leave the island. But, after only walking a few steps, they suddenly found out that at the end of the street, without them knowing, a young man with a leather cap had suddenly appeared. A pistol was hung on his left waist and a short sword on his right waist. He was holding a yellow paper in his hand. He had his head lowered as he was looking at it. Rhodes gave a slight glimpse and thought, "Where did this brat come from? The civilians on this island have long been robbed by them. They were just too scared of them to come out. The pirates did not know where this brat came from and dare to stand in their way. Does he still want to live?" The pirate crew was left slightly surprised, but they all smiled. Someone shook their wrist and took out a gun and aimed directly at the young man at the end of the street. "Hey, kid, if you don't want to die, then get lost." The young man who was at the receiving end of the gun looked up, not looking at the gun pointed at him but directly looking at Captain Rhodes standing next to his crew. "A bounty of 16 million berries, Machete Rhodes." Rhodes was surprised and said, "Kid, you sure have guts for casually saying my name. Get lost before your father here gets angry." Rhodes raised his chin slightly, showing a trace of arrogance. For the pirates, everything depended upon the bounty placed on them, and the 16 million berries bounty placed on Rhodes is not low in this area of sea. This fact gives him his pride, and that's where his arrogance comes from. "It's good that I didn't get the wrong person." The young man nodded and gently dropped the paper in his hand and said, "Then 16 million berries, Rhodes, your head is mine." Bang. 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 As soon as his voice fell, the young man violently pulled out the pistol at the waist and shot 6 bullets at Rhodes and other pirates. The pirates apparently did not expect the young man would dare to take the initiative even when facing so many of them, but he did, and the speed at which he shot was so fast that they didn't realize until after the shots were fired. The young man fired 6 bullets and 5 pirates fell to the ground. The only bullet that failed to hit was shot at Rhodes, which was stopped by Rhodes with the huge machete on his shoulder. This time the paper that was thrown away by the young man slowly fell to the ground, and it was a bounty reward order. The wanted character on the paper was the machete Rhodes. Rhodes' position. Although Rhodes blocked the bullet fired at him, but he had no time to stop other bullets. He watched as his 5 men were all knocked down, his face turning red in anger. "You, damn!" He screamed and waved his huge machete in his hand and rushed up against the youth. The huge machete slammed down, and it was the wind produced from the swing that gave people a kind of feeling. The feeling of splitting in half. However, facing Rhodes' attack, the youth did not panic. He hurriedly put away his pistol and then he put his hands directly in front of him to catch the machete, courting death. Rhodes sneered at this sight in front of him. His machete was not only huge, but the material that it was made from was very special. It was very hard and extremely heavy. Most people couldn't hold his weapon even if they tried. To dare to catch his machete, he doesn't know if the young man in front of him wanted to live or die. The machete slams down towards the young man, but almost as soon as the young man's palm touched the blade, Rhodes's face changed, because a strange force suddenly enveloped the entire machete. Gotcha. The huge machete did not cut down the young man's palm, and it is directly twisted continuously under the influence of that strange force turned into a twisted shape. Then the strange force continued to spread, and in front of Rhodes' horrified eyes the force covered his hands completely. "Aha!" Rhodes made an earth-shattering scream as the machete that had been twisted into a twist, accompanied by his blood and some distorted boneless meat spilled over the ground. You! Rhodes fell to the ground and looked at the young man in front of him in horror. "You are pirate hunter, Ghost Hand Ross. You guessed it correctly. Unfortunately, there is no prize for you." Ross smiled and pulled out the short sword hanging from his waist. Stepping forward, a sword swept out and a head flew up into the sky with blood. At the same time, there was a crisp electronic sound in the ear of Ross. The bounty of 16 million berries, Machete Rhodes has been hunted, received rewards, 45 talent proficiency, 1 free talent point. Hearing the electronic sound in his ear, Ross showed a touch of joy on his face. This is the first time that I had killed a pirate with a bounty of 16 million berries, the reward is really rich and I even got a free talent point. He used to be an intern in another world. 1 year ago, he came to One Piece world inexplicably. He also had a talent system in his mind and he was able to get talent proficiency points and free talent points by hunting the pirates with a bounty on their head. With this talent system, he has been able to power up in the past year and now, he could easily deal with even pirates with the bounty of 16 million berries. Ross thought about his system interface and 3 translucent singular trees that only he could see appeared in front of him. The top of the canopy had 3 names, Living, General, and Battle. Living. Type talent, which is a variety of messy talents such as sailing, cooking, music, etc. Ross only has a navigation talent from this. The general type of talent has 3 main talents of strength enhancement, agility enhancement, and physical enhancement, plus some minor talents like running, jumping, and flexibility in others. To activate a minor talent, he needs a 1 free talent points. To activate a major talent, he needs 2 free talent points. Ross currently only activates 1 major talent of agility enhancement. The final battle type talent has always been Ross's current specialization direction. After opening the battle type talent, the translucent tree was enlarged and the trunk above became a branch. Most of them were gray and dark, and only a small part was golden. The golden color is for the activated talents. And the gray color is for talents that have not been activated. At present, Ross has only 3 battle talents, firearms shooting, close, combat fighting, distortion fruit, which are labeled with the proficiency of these 3 talents. Firearms shooting, 50 close, combat fighting, 80 distortion fruit. 50 among them, firearms shooting and close, combat fighting are 2 talents with 50 points in proficiency level, 100 points for control level and maximum value of 200 points. Firearms shooting doesn't need to be raised anymore for now as the proficiency level is enough. Let's put points in the close, combat fighting and raise it to the control level. Listen to the full novel at FameTV.info, direct link in the description.